So here are a few things to make you not sound like an idiot. So what's up? I'm sorry if this is windy. It is a little windy out. I have this makeshift sock, and this is also in mono, not stereo. But I just wanted to say hello to everybody and make a tiny bit of vlog in the meantime. I ran over my own foot. 1. When you refer to a motorcycle that is a crotch rocket, that is an old derogatory term used from people who used to ride cruisers. They are a sport bike. Sport. There is no extra S, just the one S. Sport. So if you say sports bike, how many sports does it play? 2. Don't go giving adjustments or telling people to adjust things that you have no business doing. If you heard some stuff online or in a forum, keep it to yourself. There's a lot of good people in forums. There's a ton more bad people in forums. Everybody's got an opinion. So when you start hearing things like cram the hell out of your suspension, tighten everything down like crazy, just don't. Just stop passing on the information. It's probably a bad thing. The guy doesn't know what he's doing. He just heard a stiff suspension's a good suspension, but that's not necessarily true. Stiff, yes, but overly stiff, and the rider basically makes more problems for it, and it makes more problems for itself. 3. Wear your gear in your proper area. Buy something that's actually designed for where you're going and what you're doing. If you're going to an off-road meet, I can understand you're going to wear your off-road stuff on the road if you're riding a supermoto like myself to wherever you're going. But typically, you wear a vest, it's not going to protect much. It's the first thing you put out when you fall. Your hands and your arms. Your hands and your arms are going to take the brunt of the fall. So why not protect those first? No one, when they wreck, goes, here, let's take this in the chest. 3rd thing, there is no best when it comes to riding. There is no best when it comes to a lot of things. If you're cruising around and you're like, what's the best bike? Everybody's gonna have an opinion. Once again, this goes back to one of those opinion things where everybody's got one. They're not really valid. They don't matter. There is no correct for this. Jesus. Sorry, that's probably making a lot of noise. So yeah, there is no best. So when people are like, what's the best bike? There is none. Second of all, what are we at? 3, 4, I don't care anymore. I'm not numbering these things. You could just follow me or not. Last thing, or another thing, just learn and go slow. You want to ride faster, ride within 70 to 80% of your riding ability. So if it's really crazy, doing certain things, hey, nice. Another longboarder. So if you're riding within 70 to 80% of your riding ability, you're able to correct what you're doing. The only people that ride excessively above that are people that are racing during a race. You never learn being panicked. You always learn being in a controlled environment. So if you're going to wheelie, maybe you shouldn't learn the first time you're on a freeway with bumper-to-bumper traffic and you've only had 4 seconds of riding experience. Another thing, there is a lot of I outride my tires or this bike isn't fast enough. You'll probably hear it a lot. I know I do. I have never met a single person that can outride a motorcycle tire, except for somebody that actually races for a living, and typically when people do, they're not. If people say that, yeah, I outrode my tires, and they've got like a 1-inch chicken strip in the back, they're not. Or if they've got chicken strips in the front, they're not. If you're not completely using your tire, or you're doing this when your tires are not warmed up, it's a bad thing, it's a dumb idea. It means they don't understand how things work, and that's just how that is. Usually you hear that from a lot of inexperienced riders. Oh, little dog. So, inexperienced riders usually do things like go into a corner too aggressively, freak out, look at the wrong area, and then wreck the bike, lock the front end up, slide the back end out, lock the back end up, get too scared, overcorrect, understeer, whatever it is. Once again, this is that you've been riding for 4 seconds and don't have enough experience, but you claim you do. Those are just a few things that I've noticed. I've been riding for 13 years. I am not the best. I am not. And anybody who thinks that right now, do not. I have just had a lot of experience and a lot of people coming into my life and leaving my life. And it's dumb. It's dumb how much you see that. It's absolutely ridiculous how much you see it. It's a bunch of the blind leading the blind. So I encourage you greatly to go do your research. If you're finding that like 500 people just bought a brand new tire that's been out for 30 seconds and they're all out riding it, something's up with the tire. If it winds up being 500 people out of thousands, yeah, it might not be the tire. It might be those 500 people. If you want to get better, ride with somebody faster. It's typically how that works. Learn your stuff. Learn to turn. Learn these things. Then start playing around with it. When you get confident, I always equate this to the tool belt method. So the tool belt method is once you learn something, that tool is now in your belt. Your tool is now in your belt. The next time that thing comes up, you can take that thing out and go, I know how to handle this. There you go. That's how that works. But when you're going, I've never been into a hairpin turn at 90 miles an hour and the yellow sign says 15, you're probably going to wreck if you're doing it in the 90. If you're doing it at 20, maybe 30, maybe 50, depending on your skill level, that's fine. You might make it. You might do really well with it. But until then, take it slow. Take your time. Ease into things. It's okay to be slow. It's not okay to be slow for 10 years. Just be safe, be smooth, be easy on it. Learn in a controlled, nice, easy environment. Don't push yourself too hard. When you push yourself too hard, that's when mistakes happen. And when mistakes happen, people get hurt. And it's not a good idea. But all the other information-wise that I've given out, it's just to protect you and not make you sound like a complete idiot. I love you all.